I just remember throughout my career, there was always textile designers there, just in the background, just painting away. Like, and I was always like, what are they doing? Like, how can I do that? But I thought it was so out of reach. And because I was doing kind of production and fabric and textile, like technical stuff, I was like, how do I get from here, the production side, to design? And it's um I think I always had it in the back of my mind, but I just didn't know how to do it. And I think just having a play and painting and creating again and mood boarding and journaling and all that kind of stuff really, I think I just had like a light bulb moment. I was like, oh, I just need to do this. But then I knew, but it's so hard, hey, when you're like older and you're like, do I step back and start again? Or do I keep trudging along and like hoping? But it was like the best thing to just start again. Like that was 2019 and I just took a pay cut and I was just like, I just need to relearn the like ropes again. Let's just do that. But I kind of went up really quickly because I kind of knew the industry anyways. And then it was just the right thing to do. Like things just are easy. Hey, like I just feel, as I said before, like things just flow effortlessly when they're meant to be. And then if it isn't, and even in the business now, if like something's not quite right, you kind of just got to listen to that like gut intuition and just be like, okay, well, maybe not right now. Like, let's just leave that and just go down a different route. So I feel like that's what I learned a lot in the last kind of 10 years, just listening to what I need, So yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much because I think you're right. I feel like there's like the struggle is almost romanticized a little bit. Like I feel like sometimes we're like,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be hard. There's that if you're not doing anything like worth doing, it's gonna be hard or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like, that's really just gelling with me right now because I'm like, I feel like that is that identity as a business owner, as I'm doing something really tough and I've just got to push through. And I love that you said, like, maybe sometimes it's okay to take a step back, whether
Yeah.
that be, getting rid of clients that are shit,
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
it's getting rid of work that you don't love doing, whether it's, getting a job, whether it's taking a pay cut, whatever it is, that stepping back to actually propel yourself forward. I
Yeah.
just think that's so smart.
Yeah. And but then I feel like you kind of just learn it over time. And then I feel like, especially with my swimwear label, I was just kept pushing and pushing. And then things just were so hard. And like, I was just like, well, it's like, whereas other friends who also had businesses in fashion, they were just going really well. And then I was just like, well, something's not right here. Like, oh, I'm not doing something right, or the product's not right. But just, yeah, it's just staying back. But then like hard work and keep, to keep pushing forward on something that is hard is relevant. But I
Yes.
think as well, if it's not feeling right, I think it's just parking the idea. And maybe it's not right now, maybe it's like in a year or when it's the right time. I just feel like that's very me right now. I'm just like, if
Yeah.
that's not working, it's gonna work at some point. It's just timing. So yeah.
No, like literally as I said, it's just connecting with you. I'm like thinking of a few things that I have on my plate right now that I'm like, I hate. And
Yeah.
when I'm doing them, I like almost resent the
Yeah.
person. And I'm like, that's not okay. Like I shouldn't be having that in my world because they're actually awesome. And that actually is great. But I feel really horrible when I do those things. So it's like, maybe I do need to think about like refining what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah, and
Mm,
it'll create space, I think, for you to do something else, which I think will
yes.
be a bit more like rewarding. So I feel like that's so important this year for me, and so I feel like it's good little advice
I
for
love
people.
it. Share the love. This is great. And so, with this new iteration of the business, how did you go about getting those first customers?
I It's quite tricky. So it's kind of very freelancy clients that I work with, so fashion or homeware brands. But a lot is very networking
Mm,
and people that I know and people that I know in the industry. Right now, that's a lot of the people who I work with. And so that's quite tricky. But I've kind of done a lot of stuff. And as in fashion, you go in one company and people spread, and then you can kind of try to get in. So that's kind of how I'm going about at the minute, but it's a bit of a hard slog. So that's basically what I'm trying to focus on now and try to get the right clients though as well, because I think the same as you were saying, like they might not be quite right or they're not going to pay for your services, or you're not going to keep, like it's not, doesn't gel quite well. So I'm just trying to find the people that align with my style. I do a lot of watercolor and acrylic and hand painted. So, someone that's quite graphic and logo based is not going to work for me. Whereas someone like revenue or review and stuff, I've worked with them in the past, like they kind of work. So it's quite hard. But then as I'm growing the business, it's kind of just putting those steps into place. So there's a lot of trade shows around the world, so like New York and Paris and here, even Sydney. So that'll be the next thing to do, but it costs a lot of money. So it's always the fun thing. So it's just kind of working out the right timing to be able to do that and invest in the business and myself. So at the minute, it's just kind of small, and I've got my freelance clients. The next thing is kind of scaling up and like becoming more of a studio, and then hopefully trade shows. So we'll slowly, I'm like organically slowly going, but I'm the most impatient person. I'm like, come on.
Oh my God, I know. And that's like so the journey, right? You can go, I can see the 10 steps ahead. Why can't I just be at step 10? And it's
that's it.
Gotta ratchet up, get the cash, do the next thing. It's like,
that's it. Lovely. That's small business, hey.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so true.